She never expected one simple work friendship to turn her relationship upside down. And yet, all it took was a few late-night messages and one uncomfortable party to make her question everything she thought she knew about her boyfriend. Her name was Emily, 27 years old, and she had been with her boyfriend Jason for 3 years. Their relationship wasn't perfect, but it was steady. They laughed together, shared bills, cooked dinner side by side, and talked about maybe moving somewhere warmer one day. She trusted him, truly, until recently. 6 months earlier, Jason started working at a high-end restaurant in a busy part of the city. The kind where the lighting was always dim, the wine always overpriced, and the customers always demanding. He liked the job. He liked the energy. He liked the people. Especially one person. Her name was Lena, 25, one of the servers. The kind of woman who always laughed loud, always touched people's arms when she spoke, and always seemed to have a story that made everyone stop what they were doing just to listen. Jason started calling her his work wife at first. Emily didn't mind. She even joked about it. "Do I have to buy you 2 matching mugs?" she'd tease. Jason would laugh. "Come on, it's just a restaurant thing, everyone says that." And maybe that was true. Maybe it was normal. For a while, Emily believed it, but slowly things changed. It started with late-night texting. Harmless at first, work memes, photos of a ridiculous drink a customer ordered. Quick messages like, "You alive back there?" On a stressful shift, Emily didn't say anything. She was not the jealous type. But then the texts got different. Stuff like, "Did you get home safe? You looked so cute talking about that new wine tonight." Or a mirror selfie of Lena in her work outfit, asking, "Yay or nay? Be honest, you're the only guy with taste." Those weren't normal work messages. Emily knew it. She felt it in her chest like a cold drop of water sliding under her shirt. One night, around 1:20 a.m., Jason's phone buzzed. He was asleep beside her. Emily glanced at the screen. A preview of the message read, "You still awake, handsome?" Her stomach clenched. Hard. The next morning, she said gently, "Hey, Lena texted late last night. Again." Jason didn't argue. He just said, "Yeah, she closes with me a lot. She's just making sure I got home. It's part of the culture. You know, restaurant people don't keep normal hours." Emily wanted to believe him. She really did, but something felt off. Still, she didn't forbid it. She didn't yell. She didn't demand he stop talking to her. She simply said, "Okay, but it makes me uncomfortable." Jason nodded. "I get that." Then, as if trying to show her he had nothing to hide, he opened his messages and let her scroll for a moment. And just when she thought that meant things were fine, the next day he turned off message previews, no explanation, just suddenly, every message notification now said only, "New text message." Emily stared at the locked screen. That didn't feel like reassurance. That felt like a door closing. She tried not to obsess. She tried to remind herself that Jason had never cheated before, that they usually told each other everything, that Lena might really just be a flirty personality, nothing more. But the next moment that stayed in Emily's mind forever, the moment that turned uneasiness into suspicion, happened at the staff party Jason invited her. That alone made Emily feel hopeful. If he was hiding something, would he bring her? She dressed nicely but not showy. She rehearsed being friendly to everyone. She wanted to prove to herself that she was being reasonable, not paranoid. The restaurant had rented a private lounge room, loud music, low lights, people drinking cocktails and laughing over inside jokes she didn't fully understand yet. Jason was at her side at first, introduced her to a few people, got her a drink, kissed her cheek. For a moment, Emily relaxed. Then Lena walked in. Everyone perked up. She wore a sparkly top like she was walking onto a stage. She hugged 3 people, whispered something to a bartender that made him blush. Jason waved her over. "Lena, hey, this is Emily." Lena glanced at her 1 second, then turned back to Jason and smiled only at him. "Oh, so you're the famous partner," Lena said loudly. Then she laughed and added, "Work partner, right?" People around them chuckled. Emily smiled politely, even though something about the wording scraped against her heart. She tried again, told Lena she liked her earrings, asked how long she'd worked there. Normal small talk. Lena said 2 sentences, then turned, walked away, not rudely, just completely dismissive, like Emily was a background prop. Jason didn't seem to notice, but Emily went quiet after that. Something about the interaction burned inside her. She didn't want to be jealous, but she also didn't want to be blind. On the Uber ride home, Jason asked if she'd had fun. She stared at the passing streetlights before answering. "I felt invisible," he frowned. "What do you mean?" "She barely talked to me," Emily said. "She acted like you were her boyfriend and I was just someone in the way." Jason shrugged. "That's just how she is. She's super intense at work, but she's completely harmless." Emily didn't want to start a fight in the car, so she let the silence grow between them. 2 days later, she finally spoke up. "I don't want to control your friendships," she said softly, "but I think we need boundaries." Jason looked up from his phone. Boundaries? Yes. Just simple things. No pet names, no hearts in texts, no outfit selfies meant only for you, and maybe no non-urgent texts after 10 p.m. Jason blinked like she'd suggested something unreasonable. "That sounds like a lot." "It's basic respect," she said. "If I had a guy friend texting me at 1 a.m. saying I looked cute, wouldn't that bother you?" Jason didn't respond. "You're overreacting," he finally said. "We need chemistry. That's literally how fine dining service works. The team has to feel close." Emily stared at him. "You don't need romantic emojis to deliver a bottle of wine." That's when he said it. "You don't understand restaurant culture." She felt her chest tighten. "No," she whispered. "I think I understand too well what's happening." And that night, for the first time in 3 years, Emily slept facing the opposite direction. Not crying, not yelling, just thinking, wondering, was she being possessive? Was he pushing boundaries? Was Lena just playful? Or was this the beginning of something worse? The kind of slow emotional slide that starts with just texting and ends with "it just happened." She didn't want to be the jealous girlfriend, but she also didn't want to be the fool who stayed quiet until it was too late. She opened her phone, filtered through the last few days of messages, read comments online from women who said, "If your gut feels something is wrong, believe it." She stared at the ceiling in the darkness, feeling her heartbeat between her ribs. Something was changing, whether Jason saw it or not. If you're still listening right now, thank you. You are the reason I tell these stories. If you're enjoying this one so far, make sure to like the video and subscribe. It really helps the channel keep growing. Because what happens next will completely change the way Emily sees her boyfriend and her own ability to trust. Emily woke up the next morning with a tight knot in her chest. Not painful, not dramatic, just there, like a tiny stone at the bottom of her stomach. Jason was already gone, having left early for the breakfast prep shift. He'd kissed her forehead before leaving. She vaguely remembered that, but it didn't feel the same anymore. Not like a promise, more like a routine. She made coffee, scrolled her phone, tried not to think about Lena, but every time she tried to push it away, her mind whispered, "He turned message previews off." She called him handsome at 1 in the morning. "You're the only guy with taste." Emily closed her eyes. Before all this, her relationship had felt like a quiet, stable lake. Now there were ripples, small but constant. And underneath them, something deeper was moving. 3 days passed. Jason acted normal, almost too normal. More kisses, more compliments, more effort, as if trying to balance something invisible. Emily watched him carefully. Not like a detective, like someone studying a puzzle that used to be simple, and suddenly wasn't. One night, he came home smelling like lemon polish and grilled steak. "Stressful shift?" she asked. "Not really," he said, tossing his keys. "Slow night. Everyone was joking around." "Lena says hi." He said it casually, too casually. Emily forced a smile. "Did she text you?" Jason blinked once. "Yeah, just about stock counts. Why?" "No reason." But that wasn't true. Her heart had already dropped. She didn't want to sneak, didn't want to play games. But that night when Jason went to shower, she reached for his phone. Just to see, just to reassure herself. The screen lit up. No message previews, only a list of new message notifications. She swallowed hard, tapped his code, the one they both knew. The messages weren't gone, they were just muted. "Lena, I almost died laughing when you said that table needed emotional support wine. Are you alive or did the bar fridge eat you again? Mirror check. Cute?" Then a selfie. She wore deep red lipstick, hair curled, a wine opener held playfully between her teeth. Jason had replied, "Definitely cute. Not heart eyes, not flirting, but not neutral." And Emily knew. The problem wasn't the words. It was the frequency, the closeness, the casual intimacy that didn't belong to her. She put the phone back exactly where it had been. He came out of the bathroom, toweling his hair. "You okay?" he asked. She nodded. Too quickly. Jason paused, then kissed her forehead. She wondered if he could taste her doubt in the air. The next week, something changed. Lena stopped texting after 10 p.m. Emily noticed immediately. But instead of feeling relief, she felt like someone had turned off the music in a room where dancing had already happened. "She knows," Emily realized, not for sure, but something in her gut told her Lena now understood she had pushed too far. That meant Jason said something or Lena sensed the shift. Either way, the game wasn't over. It had just moved underground. Another staff party was announced. This time, a winery tour hosted by a supplier. Jason wanted her to come. "You'll love it," he said. "It's fancy. And hey, maybe you and Lena can talk this time." Emily raised an eyebrow. "Maybe she can talk to me this time." Jason winced. She was tipsy that night. She's actually super friendly when you get to know her. Emily didn't respond, but inside she thought, if she's so friendly, why do I feel like she's competing with me? The winery was beautiful, golden fields stretching beneath a late afternoon sun, glass walls, white tables, a soft breeze carrying hints of berries and oak. Jason introduced Emily to a few new staff. Everyone was warm, relaxed, happy to include her. Then Lena walked in. Not sparkly this time. Black dress, hair down, simple, elegant. Her eyes met Emily's, just for a second. No smile, no wave, just measured observation. Emily suddenly understood something. Lena didn't dislike her. Lena was evaluating her. During the tasting, Lena laughed louder than anyone at Jason's jokes. She kept drifting closer to him when they stood, brushed his arm when reaching for things. Emily watched silently. Not because she was weak, because she wanted one thing: truth. Jason said it was harmless. Lena's behavior did not look harmless. At one point, while the group wandered to a barrel room, Emily paused at a display of corks. She only stood there a few seconds alone, but it was enough time for two servers near her to whisper. Unaware, she could hear Lena's totally into him. She always goes for guys in relationships. It's like her thing. She'll deny it until she dies, though. Emily froze. Her pulse thudded in her ears. She turned quietly and rejoined the group. Nothing about her face revealed what she had heard, but inside, something finally aligned. She wasn't crazy. She wasn't jealous without reason. She was being slowly pushed out of her place. The final moment of the night was what broke her last thread of denial. Dinner. Long table, candles. Jason reached for the wine bottle. Lena placed her hand on his wrist, lightly, and whispered something into his ear. Too close, too familiar, too intimate. Emily didn't hear the words, but she saw Jason's smile, a soft, private smile, not the one he used with her. Something inside her went still, not angry, not crying, just clear. After dinner, while everyone headed to the bus, she pulled Jason aside. "I'm heading home separately." "What? Why?" "I'm not comfortable." "With what?" She looked him dead in the eyes. "She touches you too much." Jason laughed once. "The wrong move." "Oh, come on, Em, you're blowing this up." Emily didn't blink. "That's not denial, that's disrespect." For the first time, he had no comeback. They rode home in silence. He didn't hold her hand. She didn't look out the window. They just existed in the same space with two completely different truths unfolding in their minds. At home, she went straight to bed. Jason stayed on the couch. Neither said goodnight. The next morning, she woke up first. She heard muffled talking. Jason, in the kitchen, on the phone. She moved silently until she heard the words clearly. "I don't know, she's acting weird. I think she's jealous." A pause, then Lena's voice, faint but clear on speaker. "Well, do you want me to back off?" Emily's blood chilled. Jason hesitated, too long, way too long, then finally said, "Maybe just cool it for a few days." Not, "She's uncomfortable, stop." Not, "You're crossing boundaries, leave it alone." Just cool it for a few days, like hiding an affair before the holidays. Emily stepped into the kitchen. Jason hung up instantly. He turned and saw something in her eyes he'd never seen before. She was finally done pretending everything was fine. She didn't scream. She didn't throw anything. She simply said, "I heard the whole conversation." Jason's jaw clenched. No, I heard it, and I'm done explaining why this hurts. If you cared, I wouldn't need to justify a single thing." He opened his mouth to speak, but she lifted a hand, quiet, steady, not begging, just finished. "I'm going to my sister's for a couple days. Think about what you want, because right now, you don't seem to want us." She grabbed her bag, walked out, didn't look back. And for the first time in their 3-year relationship, Jason said nothing, not even wait. If you're still here listening right now, you're amazing. Make sure to like the video because what happens next will finally force Jason to confront the truth about his work wife. And it will not go the way he expects. Jason didn't follow her, didn't run down the stairs, didn't text her a long apology. He just stood in the kitchen, staring at the door she'd walked through. It wasn't the breakup moment, not yet. But it was the first moment he realized Emily wasn't bluffing. She had finally reached the line between patience and self-respect, and he pushed her past it. Emily drove with the windows down, even though it was cold. She liked the sting of the air on her face. It made her feel awake. Her sister, Alyssa, opened the door before Emily even knocked. One look at her face and she didn't ask a single question. She just wrapped her in a long, warm hug. They sat on the couch later that night. Emily finally spoke. "I don't think he's cheating, but I do think he likes the attention." Alyssa nodded. "Some people will swear they love you, but still crave tiny hits of validation wherever they can get it." Emily stared into her tea. "What if I made it worse by caring too much?" "No," Alyssa said firmly. "You didn't make boundaries. You recognized them." Silence. Then Alyssa added, "And he didn't protect them." Those words landed hard because they were true. Jason didn't text that first night. He typed, deleted, typed again. He told himself she'd come back after cooling off, but he kept replaying her voice in the kitchen. "If you cared, I wouldn't need to justify a single thing." And he realized he'd made her feel alone in their relationship. That's the kind of damage you don't undo with a paragraph and a heart emoji. Meanwhile, at work, something shifted. Lena noticed. Jason was quieter, not playful, not responsive to her jokes. He didn't touch her shoulder in passing anymore, didn't linger at the host stand to talk. He worked, just worked, and Lena felt the distance instantly. 2 days later, she cornered him near the stockroom. "You're acting weird." "I'm not." "You are," she insisted, lowering her voice. "Is this about your girlfriend?" Jason didn't answer, which was an answer. Lena folded her arms. "What did she say? That I'm trying to steal you?" Jason finally looked at her. "Are you?" Lena blinked. "I'm not trying to steal anyone, but if someone can be stolen, maybe they're not that committed." Jason exhaled sharply. That's exactly the problem. That night, Lena texted him, "You know I'm not the enemy here." He stared at it for a long time, then he did something Emily had begged for 6 weeks ago. He deleted the thread, not archived, deleted. Emily stayed with her sister 3 nights. On the 4th morning, she woke up with clarity. The kind that only arrives when sadness burns itself down to coal. She looked at her phone. Still nothing from Jason. Not anger, not apology. Just silence. And that silence said everything. If she mattered, he would be fighting. He wasn't. Jason finally reached a breaking point that same morning and he grabbed his keys, drove, not to work, to Emily. He didn't call first, he needed to show up, not text paragraphs. She opened the door, surprised. They just stared for a moment. No yelling, no accusations, just 2 people who loved each other and had deeply disappointed each other. "Can I come in?" he asked. Emily stepped aside. They sat at the kitchen table, no coffee, no distractions. Jason spoke first. "I didn't cheat on you." "I know," she said, "but I let someone get too close, and I ignored how it made you feel. That's on me. I'm sorry." Emily said nothing. He continued. "I liked being the center of attention at work. I liked feeling admired. But I should have shut it down the second it started affecting us." Emily looked up. "And why didn't you?" Jason swallowed. "Because I thought if I wasn't doing something wrong, then I didn't have to change anything." She nodded slowly. "That's the trap." He nodded back. "I get it now." There was a long silence. Then she asked, very softly, "Is it over? With her?" "Yes." "Completely?" "I deleted the messages. I told her we're not doing inside jokes and late-night texts anymore. And if she oversteps again, I'll shut it down. Not for peace, for respect." Emily watched him. She could see he meant it, but meaning it wasn't the same as earning trust back. "I don't want a breakup," Jason said quietly, "but I'll accept whatever you decide." Emily sat back. She looked tired, not angry, just emotionally used up. "I don't want a breakup either," she said, "but things can't go back to how they were." Jason nodded. "I know." No more secrecy, no more brushing things off when I'm uncomfortable. I shouldn't have to compete for my own relationship. You won't, he said. Then prove it. Jason didn't argue, didn't say I will too quickly. He just held her gaze and nodded once. A real steady yes. That night, they didn't magically reconnect. No dramatic kissing, no sudden laughter. They just sat on the couch together, with space between them. But Jason put his hand on the cushion, palm up, not grabbing, not assuming, just offering. Emily stared at it for a long moment, then placed her hand in his, small gesture, but powerful. It meant, we're not fixed, but we're trying. 2 weeks later, the restaurant had another staff hangout. Emily came. Lena was there. She did not hug Jason. She did not call him handsome. Did not send any late-night pictures afterward. Instead, when Emily approached, Lena smiled politely and said, "You have great taste in men." Emily smiled back, calm, not competitive. "That's why I'm keeping him." Lena's eyebrow lifted. She nodded once, impressed, and walked away. No hostility, just understanding. Because this time, Jason hadn't left Emily alone in the fight. He stood beside her, where he should have been all along. If you're still watching, and you've ever been made to feel crazy, insecure, or dramatic for having reasonable boundaries, let this story remind you, respect isn't proven by what someone says, it's proven by what they stop allowing. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends.